point to kick us off. And that's the interesting thing about this map pool in particular, Jay, is that it doesn't really have really hard set favored modes or maps for either of these two teams. It feels like it's going to be a pretty big square up.
Yeah. You talk about the HPs last time, it was a vault. Difference is they had a skyline last go around, and if you're playing against Vegas, you definitely do not want to throw that into the rotation.
Yep.
But I'm just going to put a bold statement out. This first map might come down to white time. If you're Optic Texas, you need these CDL points. Let's get it going.
Let's go. We got Vegas Falcons, Optic Texas. Let's get it on. Shots at first blood already coming through. Cut comes out, though, and that would be Vegas returning to some favor over the top of P1, leaving Skies by himself. Good turn from Arcides, and it's the Falcons in early.
Yeah, and the Falcons last time were a lot to handle because the ARs and Arcides and Priesta just went absolutely crazy on maps like this. They whip out an extra one to start it off. They dominate in the kill feed. They're soaking up a lot of time here. Now Optic trying to find their way back in.
Good team shots coming through. Allow Skies and Dashy to get some work done up top. But still, not really able to dissuade the Falcons on the hard point itself. Now Rock being hit as Arcides is shut down by Hook. Follow up for Hook up top as he will find Pred. And that starts to stabilize stuff here for Texas as you look not just over the scrap time, but in particular down to P2.
Yeah, the spawns are already locked in on the side of Optic Texas. You just got to rotate, get some control over towards Water Street. But they lose the initial gunfight, instantly traded by Sky. So now you're spawning close towards the HP. You're looking at Shotzi to still create an extra layer over towards Gad. He unfortunately is going to get taken down, so Vegas can approach from the front.
Spawns up for Shotzi, but he's a little bit far away to help out with this hit from the front. It's going to have to be Skies. Slides out, finds the first. Turns over to the hard point. You've got a trophy system in for Vegas. They have been so efficient at being able to play in and around the hard point. They may not win many rotations, but when they get into the hard point, they survive in the hard point. And now you've got a chance to split up the spawns and maybe stagger this, but Shotzi's off onto a double, and Optic are looking good for the scrap.
Yeah, this is fantastic call from Optic. Driving through the chaos, even when the spawns are getting mixy. Back and forth on the side for Vegas, but Priesta is able to pop three from the back door. So the break comes in for a good chunk of time as well. And Optic, they're looking like they're not going to give this up for free because they still have those close back spawns.
Yeah, problem is you're going to send Skies on the long route over through with P3. The rest of the squad for Optic just trying to find exits, and Pred's not going to allow that. Zones out over towards the top side of hallway. Now he's working on rotation to 3. A really good set scrap time there for Vegas.
This is truly going to be the deciding factor of who's going to win this game. Who soaks up the most time here at P3, who dominates the rotation over towards P4. And Exnit this time around has an AR in towards R.
Wow.
He's able to put himself in a great position to contest early on. Teammates are setting up the pitch, but once Exnit falls, at least you can soak up time now because you already lost R.
Everything starts to stabilize. Both teams taking their respective corners. Trade through mid. Exit now back to the SMG. Predicts nicely, but not able to find the shots to land for a kill. Arcides a little bit stuck, but with the pistol out, tries to chow out Shotzi from the pitch. Not going to find much success there, and as Skies pushes off Pred, this is good time for Optic.
Yeah, in the last go-around when Optic played against Vegas, it was Shotzi who had not the best series. 0.7 overall in that one, but an 11-6 start on 5 in a row. He's trying to turn that page here, but wow, now you have players from Vegas already sneaking their way in towards Art. The close spawns come in, so all that hard work to hold them on that side of the map towards ammo doesn't work out.
Definitely feels like Vegas are playing their game right now, and Optic have to read and react to it. So trends and patterns definitely feel like they're starting to favor Vegas. Rotation over to 4 underway. Spawns a bit of a question mark here for Vegas as they had Priesta spawning out from the old hill. Shotzi working on the play up top towards Art. Now an opportunity to pinch this from the side, and the kills are looking like they're looking good for Optic. Chance for them to flip the spawns, and for Vegas, it's just trying to see how long can Pred stay alive.
Yeah, Pred's just trying to finesse. He's waiting for his teammates to get back into the play, but unfortunately he gets isolated, but at least you have Exnit, who was able to sneak his way on through the back. They're not going to account for him, so he opens up with the kill. He's also blocking the spawns. His teammates are contesting everywhere else around this hard point. They just can't get inside because Scoop finds a double.
Well, Arcides cleans out Art. He also finds one on the cross. So it'll be a 2v2 in the hard point for now. Exnit, good discipline, takes care of Shotzi with that nade. Now into the hard point. Hook denies. Arcides not able to challenge. Vegas still getting close spawns, trying to battle for this last 15 seconds or so. And it's really just down to what Skies can produce up top. He's done well to catch one. Jumps on in, but Pred will find the elimination, and a little bit of scrap time will go to the Falcons.
That's well executed right there out of Optic without the numbers. Like Hook was having massive gunfight after massive gunfight. And towards the bottom side of P4, he was able to go on 5 in a row and just really not give Vegas any time when they had the numbers at the money hill. So you're going to be up by 25 going into our second set. Vegas applying all the pressure through the middle of the map. Pred on 6 in a row does get cut down, but you got the last man standing. There's still so time.
This is, again, just that kind of thing we're talking about narratively about the Vegas Falcons. They may not necessarily rotate the best, but when they get in and around the hard point, they are so good at surviving through it. So it's just a 20-point game. Optic Clean kill feed. A chance for Skies to get arena where these spawns are going from. He's had a slow game in terms of interactions at this point, but this read right here will allow Optic some breathing room on this scrap 20 seconds.
Yeah, and they already found the initial kill. So now if you're Vegas, you know you need to find this break. You don't want to give it this time, but you also need to flip the spawns. Thankfully, the route good enough from Pred to have his teammate spawn right next to him, contest back through the middle of the map with the spawns in your favor. Now you need to make up for it here with the rotation to P2.
Yeah, spawns, neither team really owning what's happening down over towards P2 at the moment. Good win from Xnit up top. Gives him some ground to work with here at pool. And for Optic, they are going to stretch the map around a little bit. Hook working on a really deep, long route. Should be traded by Pred, and it is. So now the full focus has to be on the front, and Skies has found entrance.
Oh yeah, Xnit's just gonna let him slip on by, and then he's also gonna fall. So all that aggression, the extra layer you had through the front door instantly gets wiped away. And now with all the aggression on the opposite side for Optic, they're gonna spawn a couple of you guys out. 35 seconds, still here at P2. Skies with a big one-on-one. He's on 5 in a row. He said, all right, I heard what Alan said. Time to get at.
He was 4-8 at one point. He was just not involved. But now with the SMG, puts himself onto a streak and helps Optic grow this lead to nearly double the points. Still a battle for this last 20 seconds, but Optic have a really solid read on where the Falcons are trying to hit this old time from. Xnit RC's couple eliminations. Hook trying to find a way to secure the cross, but now he's the last one standing. And with this 10 seconds remaining, it'll just be him last one left. A little bit too high in the jump. Hits the top of the building, and that'll be enough for Vegas to get a little bit of time here on the end of 2.
Yeah, but that's 2 times now at P2. They only walk away with about 10 to 15 seconds. So if you're Optic, just managing through the chaos again, walking away with a majority of the time, and now having a rotation over towards P3. It was Vegas last go around, stacking over towards Arc. The final 20 seconds is when they lose those spawns, and it gets a little bit chaotic. But Optic right now, let's just soak up as much time as we can.
Well, Vegas able to win out over towards this P3 street. Long route from Shotzi starting to occur. Vegas not aware of it at the moment, but winning battles over the top of P3. But with RCD's dropping top art, there's the spawn flip, and now Vegas will be aware that they're in trouble from the back.
Yeah, RCD's the only guy blocking the spawns over towards art. So with Satsi in that position, you take care of him, you instantly spawn over towards that art position, and now Vegas have an opportunity to walk away with this final 20, but you're going to need a break quickly here at B4.
Yeah, really good moment here in terms of time for Vegas, but the hurdle is right in front of them, what they need to try to find a way to get over the top of, and that is the rotation to 4. And as they try to break, we go over to a Vegas Falcons listen in.
Dashy top part, nice, Dashy top part, push the Kyler was top before. Charles is gonna be on top. I'm trying to go mid. One's gonna all the way out. Spawn all the way out. That's time weak. Behind us, line. Go through. Line top part. Go through. Top before and watch out. They're tweaking. Yeah. Line weak. Line. He's top part. Yo, I got it. He's under left. Top part. Top part dead. I spawn cat. Stay left. He pushed me out. Deep right. Go for the left. He's gonna be statue. Top before. Nice. Help Wood. Big fucking kill. I got 1%. Top before. Have your side door. Top part. One shot. Top part still. Top part weak. I'll see top part. Dead. Yeah. One more time. There's 2 times. Okay, what's statue note? Yeah. Set up and use. Yeah. We're good.
Yeah, all done.
You can left. I'm jumping in. I'll get right. Caesar bottom mark. I got initial.
Yeah, I'm
He's big control. Dead. Nice. I have cat. Yep, I got
Yeah.
Top before, guys. I'm pitching right. They're gonna try to play cat on me, guys. I don't see. Yo, what's cat? Cat Dashi weak. Cat who? Who can still cat? I have it close. Yo, too close. They're trying fast. Caesar, one shot. Caesar, absolutely. He's gone.
One cat.
Yep, Caesar, open. He's pitching money. Can't find out. He's full. I think he's pitching money. Caesar, one shot. Back PJ. Get you. One's gonna be right.
Yeah, you can see what they're trying to do to try to break up P4, but just not quite able to find the success. Maybe a couple of moments of contest, but that's about it. And Optic have blown the lid off this game, requiring Vegas to fight for this back 20 and essentially get a full 60 at P2.
Yeah, besides that 10 seconds where Xnit was able to snip his way on through, Optic were in a perfect setup. You had the crosses being watched, Shotzi was roaming through mid-line, and you could tell when listening, they knew that he was there. It's just you can't fully commit on trying to take care of him when he's not showing any face.
Yep.
He was able to catch timing on 2 kills, shut down that initial push, and it's still a 60-point difference. But if you're Vegas, you need to start winning some couple rotations.
Yeah, Priest losing that gunfight right there. Maybe the end of this map. And yeah, every hit is going to have to be very desperate here for Vegas. If they can get Skies out of the point, that would be super helpful towards just giving themselves a chance at securing some sort of a break. But Shotzi up top, again, reduces the numbers. Hellstorm also coming in from Skies. He will find one of each team. Pred from the front, trying to work his way in. That's going to get shut down, and here's the winning moment potentially for Optic.
Yeah, Vegas have basically 1 or 2 more good pushes. They find the opening kill through the middle of the map. They are spawning on the middle side of P1, but they are only forced to work through that front side. Archleys finds a double. You still got to get in a good test. Thankfully, Archleys is able to find 3. That's all 4 dead, and again, Vegas find a break, but only 20 seconds here.
They get the isolation on the Dashy. That will give them the awareness that as the last member drops, Optic must have spawned over towards mid. They're on the hunt for him. Scrap time looks pretty much confirmed the last 10 seconds, but you only have a 12-point gap here if you're Vegas. You have to make this P3 Mixie, and you have to dominate a rotation of 4. Someone needs to turn up right here.
Yeah, realistically, I'm not playing for art here. I'm just playing around this hard point and then find the 20 seconds. If all the kills go our way, then we can win the rotation over towards New, but we have to play keep away. We cannot allow Optic to win here. Effective trades back and forth in the kill feed, but Dashy, last man standing. All you need is 7 points.
Yeah, next in our city is just giving up that position. We're trying to push forward. Dashy deals with both of them. Priest the next one. That will be enough for Bruce. One more at the cut. No. Pred gets the trade, but I don't know if it's going to make much of a difference towards the scoreboard. You've got Optic ready to go, but Exit and Arcity's still fighting, leaving Shotzi as one of the last ones to battle in around the hard point, and he's taken down. Still a moment to fight here for Vegas, but Dashy off his next life once again continues to rip them apart.
Yeah, you just continue to fight from the front side of the street. As long as you don't allow Vegas to get to that 190 mark, you know they cannot win at the Money Hill at P4, but now they're just going to cut their losses. Shotzi's going to hit a little bit of a route. AR's finding opening kills through the street. Can you continue to apply the pressure to spawn them out? And they can still win it.
They can still win. Skies gets 2. Priest trying to take him off the hard point. Not going to happen. And the green wall rises with a moment of triumph for the first time here in Florida.
Might have been the best way I've ever seen Optic Texas play that P3 to P4 rotation on the second half of the game. You walk away with a majority of the time. Your ARs are properly set up. You had Shotzi creating extra layers in the middle of the map. And that's basically the story, all of map number 1. You were just a team there early on, as soon as those news hills popped every single time.
And I think the thing about it too, and when we were watching this Optic team yesterday, I mean, you've got Shotzi dropping 40 for the L.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things like the slaying presence is not the issue. It's the coordination between what the ARs are doing versus what the subs want to do. And it did feel like, as we started into this map, maybe there wasn't enough immediate pattern correction to sit there and say like, okay, Optic have woken up. But I think, again, you look at that rotation from 3 to 4, both times that we were there, they were really clean, really efficient, and just making sure that Vegas could never get stable with more than 1 spawn behind P4.
And also the P2. Like, Vegas were only able to find 10 to 15 seconds at the end of that hard point for the time that they were obviously not trying to give up. But then when you're fighting so hard for that time, you're laid off the rotation to P3. You had a player sitting solo in towards R. He gets 2 kills, but once he falls, then you immediately lose art control. It's just right there. Vegas were fully not in sync. Their breaks weren't the best as well because you're just going to the first play. Like, you're instantly spawning out every single hard point. You're just trying to bombard your way through the front door, and Optic just kept on finding trades. Yeah. That was the biggest story as well.
Yeah, it really is that rotation in the middle there from 4 to 1 and then 1 to 2. You get a collection of around 70 seconds or so between those 3.5 hills or so. So really good stuff from Optic, I think. And again, particularly making sure that Vegas don't get comfortable. Because you're right, when it comes down to like both P2 and P4, not bad in terms of Vegas finding some rotational success, but not stable enough for them to continually respawn in the favored position around those hills. And so it's just one of those things that, again, Optic's deterrence of setups looking decent, even though the rotations are still maybe a little bit lackluster.
Yeah, but the rotations were good enough to win you this game because that's what Vegas have been banking on so far all throughout stage 3. Being the team there early and then relying on their setup. They never had opportunities to rely on that setup because they were always late to the party. And Optic just beat them to the punch every single time. So now Texas up by 1. You're going to go into a rewind, search and destroy where you did test it one time versus Rocker. You lost in a round 10. First Bloods didn't go your way. And then on the opposite side for Vegas, this is the only SMG they won in stage 3 and in a clean 6-0 fashion. So this is going to be a tough one, especially if those SMGs can't get something going early on.
And I think the thing about that, we were actually guessing that Vegas-Boston game, and we were sitting there watching that rewind, search and destroy. It's just like, whoa, they are beating Boston at their own game. And early on, into the reintroduction rewind, we were seeing the SMGs for Boston getting away with whatever they wanted to. So there is a level of tempo and control that this Vegas team has when it comes to their approach on both sides of the bomb for rewind. The other side of the story here for Optic is the search and destroy has not really been great. It's just kind of been mid
Yeah.
throughout this stage to this point. A couple of tough losses, I think, have really hurt the hearts of the Optic fans. But going into a rewind, again, the results, there's just not many of them here for Optic.
Yeah, it's not many, so that's potentially good for you because Vegas are not going to know what they're going to throw at you. And obviously, if you saw Vegas on their last time that they played it with a clean 6-0, they're probably going to come in with a lot of the same strategy, so you can build the counter off of that.
Yeah.
But I just think like the way that Optic played their Search and Destroy yesterday, they found so many first bloods. They had the man advantage in majority of these rounds. It's just someone that's trying to be a hero.
Yep.
Just trying to individually challenge a one-on-one gunfight. And if you lose it, then you don't have the numbers advantage anymore. You can't throw away those situations here because you know what the pacing that Pred and Exton are going to send through mid DVD. Shotzzy needs to be able to match that.
Yeah, the kind of synopsis on yesterday was in low number situations late in the round, 3v2s. Someone's just pushing forward when we just don't need to.
Trying to do
and
too
it
much,
gets
man.
to a 2v2, and then it gets to a 2v1, and then it ends up falling. But talking about opening first duel percentages, at least in terms of being able to find success, that has not really been that much of an issue. And again, Shotzzy has really, I think, improved in that matter when it comes to how we've seen him over the course of the calendar year to this point. The problem is the conversion percentage has not been high. So that's, I think, the biggest thing is if you're going to be able to find first bloods with the SMGs, in particular from Shotzzy, you have to have a good sound mindset in terms of what are we doing on the defensive side to make sure the bomb site stays safe, or more particularly on offense, how do we make sure our bomb gets planted and we're just not over-challenging and we've got a good, stable post plan.
It's just going to be tight because you know the way that Vegas like to set up. They don't give up DVD.
Yeah.
So if you don't find that opening kill, you're going to waste a lot of time to try to rework your way back in towards that site. You got to make sure you're going to make it count and find that opening kill. And if you're Optic, such an important match again. You were sitting at 130 CDL points, currently in that A spot with two teams chasing right behind you. Every single dub that you can get from this point on is a massive one. This rewind, search and destroy. Vegas are definitely looking for a bounce back because they're confident as hell at this point.
And I think the thing too is like, this is one of those maps coming into a search and destroy where you've only played it once. How do you find a way to just turn everyone's minds around about what they saw yesterday or what we had seen throughout portions of this qualifier? Because, well, this is a great time for the graphic show. But again, we're talking about opening win percentage is great. Conversion percentage has been miserable. You can't come away with 60% opening duel wins, but barely half the time finding ways to successfully convert. And again, I feel like that's like a if A, then B. Like that's what we work on is cause and effect between opening duels and conversion percentages.
Just play to your advantages. You have the numbers, trade it out effectively. You're always going to have the last man standing. But here we go. Into the map number 2. Optic Texas early on the attack. Do not have any trophy systems to work with. They're just going to fight early on for gents.
But really, those Vegas defensive nades don't get to where they're intended to go. They explode a little bit too early. So a lot of this hit has stayed safe. Shots to the bomb carrier, working his way in. Good read onto Arcees. That was a play he did a lot versus Boston. Looks like Optic have gotten their film and they find first blood.
That's a massive first blood. So now Shots is just going to wait for the regen to come on in, keep the advantage on their side. Put yourself in a situation where you're potentially going to have a solo chow, but they spot him.
Yeah, I think he knows that Exton's playing this close corner too. You can see him just keeping the ADS up. Dashy trying to play around the back. Exton coming back over to the play, finds the bomb carrier of Shotzzy. Hook for the trade. Optic still looking and leaning towards B.
Yeah, I love the commitment. You know you have the numbers, so let's just trade it out. Keep the numbers in our favor. And now we have full B side control. Just want to make sure everything is cleared on out, but Dash is going to have his hands full.
Oh, Priesta finds the good opener. No trade available. 2v2, bomb to be planted. Sky's holding over towards the deep left side. Hook, where does he go after the post plant? He's going to join him. Backside of the rig, and actually, Pred's going to re-clear out street to courtyard first for this retake.
He's going to take a super long route. He's just banking on Priest to stay alive, and he's able to get out of dodge for now.
That's big.
But Hook and Shotzzy, or at least Hook and Skies, don't want to give up on the gunfight, and Skies gets the info as well.
This is taking a lot of time, though. 22 seconds. The action has to start to unfold right here, right now. Sky's going back over to make sure the bomb stays safe. Priesta hunting. Able to find his former teammate, but shots come through for Skies, now leaving it down to Pred. And he's been red, gets the first one. Time going to be an issue. You got to go. You got to find Hook over the top. Does he get here in time? Able to win back over the bomb site, but not enough time to find the kill and the defuse. And Optic post plant will hold.
Yeah, that's smooth moves right there out of Pred to at least force the repositioning out of Scott, but then just to run around the 18-wheeler out of Hook. Plays the time beautifully. And Optic secure the first round off the back of that first blood. But in that situation, like when you have courtyard control, you already clear out their spawn. let's not waste time to get that objective down, because then that allows someone to get isolated. You're forcing it into a 2v2. You make that round a whole lot more difficult than it needs to be.
I think it's a difficult call, though, because like we were kind of mentioning briefly, watch for Arcitys to make that play up top street when he's got enough support and help from Priestahh to watch that long angle. We saw him do that a lot versus Boston, and so you know that even though you get first blood, it may not be enough, as now the SMG is going to run on forward. Shotzzy gets the opening 2. Extend trying to find the trade. Shotzzy hopping in front of him, and we'll get an early 2v2 setup.
Now, if you're Skies, what is your timing working on this pinch? Because Priestahh, on the other hand, through the mid-street, is taking space over towards Burger. Both players from Optic Texas just going to rally up together and push out the flank.
Yeah. Extend has to keep his head on a swivel. Priestahh working for the long route through electronics. He will re-clear out B Street. Just comes down to, will they actually commit to playing for the B plant here, as Extend is still worried about this flank.
Priestahh gives them a lot of info, though.
Yeah.
Like, they couldn't be through mid-street. They had to have pushed up behind you. So if you can make your way over towards the B-bomb, we can get it down for free. Optic are not going to be into the play. It's going to be a retake situation.
All right. Both the ARs for Optic on the 2v2. Dashy first one to slide out. Sky's trying to join them. Extend, Priestahh, now both have been seen. Dashy does have a stun to work with. Nades over the top from Skies. I think they may have actually hit onto Extend there, but it doesn't make much of a difference. And now we're trying to reset up this retake to isolate through Courtyard. They're trying to get the isolation onto Extend, but he's going to slip back over towards the big rig. And now it's just down to if Skies can find this angle, because Priestahh's in the backside of the truck. Here comes the first 1v1. Goes the way of Skies. Extend able to find one trade. Slips away! Oh no, one more bullet is all that Skies needed. So now he's got to force it with the pistol! And Extend comes back through to secure the win.
Yeah, that's one of those rounds you definitely want back if you're Skies. You caught the timing on the Priestahh to win the more difficult gunfight, and then you had this guy trapped. Just could not hit the shots. Extend with the finesse, with the sauce. Able to use the dumpster as his best friend and to slide back out to catch Skies off guard. Vegas tie the game.
Really good stuff. And I think the most difficult moment, and where you get to give a lot of credit to Extend, is when he's sitting in between that hallway and Jens while Priestahh's clearing out the back. Like, you got to be worried about everything, and he keeps his cool so nicely. There we go. Another opening battle. Dashy and Pred finding each other. And this is going to be a war zone. Both teams love to play for DVD control. Instead, though, it's just down to a 3v3, and keep your eye on, yep, Shotzzy trying to find the timing on the Priestahh. They're going to isolate, and Skies, I believe, has seen Arcitys. Yeah, good information here for Optic.
And now you have the numbers advantage. Let's just run around together and play the trades. Thankfully, Hoops and Shotzzy are running around as a unit. So it's Arcitys left in a 1v3, already going to be spotted, instantly going to be taken care of. And Optic Texas were ready for that aggressive push out of Vegas. They do it every single time on their rewind. And once they were doing it on that round, they were prepared for it. Find the opening, first blood, win the trade fights, and then just have the numbers close out the round.
Yeah, this definitely feels like for Optic offensively, it's all about just getting the read early in towards DVD. You know that Priestahh and Arcitys are likely going to be playing outside towards street side. So you're going to have a numbers advantage in that battle every single time. And this time around, Pred and X did try to change the tempo by getting aggressive in DVD, but the help was not there.
Vegas, last time you played this map, you found so much success in your first bloods. Haven't found one yet so far on this map. Now Optic Texas taking a page out of your book. Aggression, move inside DVD, Hook and Dashy able to come on top. Optic again with the numbers early on.
Yeah, but there is a free route over towards B. The problem is you're not going to know that initially. It's the same two members still alive for Vegas as they were in their last offense. And it's going to be the same idea. Priestahh is going to keep inching his way up. Exit trying to make some noise, keep the defense interested in A.
Now they don't want to take the risk of working in towards DVD, having to clear out all that space, so just going to wrap the bomb over towards B. Hook and Dashy this time wrapping already to be into the play, and Dashy with the beamer takes care of Extend. Priestahh 1v3.
Yeah, he has no idea Skies can be popping up from behind him. Yeah, really good stuff right there from Optic, and again, it's the same things that we had seen from the other side of the bomb site. Get aggressive, take over the A site, make sure that they have to play through Gens or play through Street. It's just not where you want to be, especially in a 2v3 like that.
Yeah, this is how Optic like to play their Search and Destroys too. Like if they can get gunfights in the first 5 to 10 seconds, have the numbers advantage really early into the round, then it gives you time to just run around as an army of two, potentially find one in the isolation, and then just always keep the numbers in your favor. That time they don't find the first blood, but they instantly find the trade to give them the numbers advantage. And if you're Vegas, we just need our ARs to find some success through the middle of the map.
Yeah.
You're just getting picked off early on.
Yeah. The other thing for Vegas, just from a statistics standpoint on this defense, they are the team that lets the bomb get planted the most right now in stage 3, and they're the worst at retaking. So it's kind of, again, two evils that are dealing with how this Falcons team has developed their search. Good first blood though on Disguise, and look how quickly Pred's taken away space through Burger. That'll be enough information for Vegas just to keep their eyes forward here at DVD.
Yeah, 4v2, you don't have to do anything else. Like, they can plant the bomb. We have the numbers to retake it. Don't give anyone an isolation one-on-one, and Exit overextends a little bit. So Shotzzy's able to take care of him. Dashy's still trying to at least assist on the backside of B Street. But they're waiting from someone else from Vegas to potentially scan.
Yeah, and the thing about this is Vegas has everything covered right now, so this is just Optic hoping that there's another mistake from Vegas. It's not going to happen, and looks like the read is pretty much perfect in timing. Shotsy's going to go for the plant. Now we're going to get the 3v2 retake.
Dashy also gained some info onto Arcades. Bomb does get planted, and you're looking,
okay,
trying to, with the numbers, work your way back on in, but it's instantly a 1v1.
Good opening shots. So now it's Pred trying to take on Shotzzy. Long-time teammates, now enemies. Shotzzy with a check, finds Predman defuse. And to the chagrin of the green wall, they're going to see their team up 4-1.
And for a squad who threw away so many numbers situations yesterday,
not today.
They're playing it a whole lot better today, even in the 2v4. You're able to find that first guy from Exit. It's overextending a little bit through courtyard. Dashy gains the info and finds one before falling. And then Shotzi's instantly in a position to make that trade happen. Then in a one-on-one, Prez knows Shotzi way too well.
Oh, yeah.
He knows that most likely he's going to hit a route. He's just going to stall out time. He's probably not thinking, I'm going to stick to defuse. But Shotzi just heads up play, puts himself in a different position, catches him off the bomb, and Optic continue rolling.
That's a I know that you know that I know what I'm going to do type moment. Fred, okay. First contact looking good here for Vegas as they will burst in towards Jens. Different look there from Optic. It doesn't really work out here in round number 6. Dashy, not going to find the better of Arcades. That's a quick round for Vegas.
Yeah, that was the SMGs just trying to change the pacing up. They've been aggressive through DVD. That time they try to do it through Jens. Shotzi goes through Zig. Unfortunately, he loses his first gunfight. Hoops there for the response, but Xnet has a lot more HP. He's able to find that opening double. Optic just trying to make up for the numbers there. All just get caught, and Vegas stop the bleeding for now.
Needed that badly. And I think the thing about it is you get a quick round, now you can just go right back to talking about the defensive side. And what is the setup going to be? I wouldn't be surprised if we see that same little Priesta and Arcades setup to work off one another. And yeah, it looks like that kind of is the case. Arcades watching the close corner on the barrel. Pred already deep in towards Burger. And then it's just a lot of nades in towards courtyard, and then a backup play here for Vegas to play more reserved ground B.
Yeah, Dashy making an adjustment this time around. He got picked from the AR, setting up a crossfire. Now Vegas just going to slow down the defensive approach. Everyone backing up, playing a little bit more safe. Skies is going to get spotted, and with 13 HP, he's at least able to get out. But Optic are just still waiting.
Yeah, they're just calling where the RC is right now. Pred, Priesta right there. There's the nades over the top. Here comes Shotzi looking for first blood. Skies is the one to provide. Pred also taken down though. Leads it now to a 4v2 situation. Optic have scaled deep over towards B Street. They also see the player over the top. Xnade gets caught. Last player left will be Arcades, and the hunt is on. And there's nowhere for him to go. Optic up 5-2.
That's just a perfectly executed play.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't want to test anything with the RC. Don't give it any information as well. And then once it blows up, we're just bombarding our way over towards the B site and catching Vegas absolutely off guard. You find the opening kill on the Priesta. Player gets isolated in towards courtyard. Put yourself in a 4v2, and then you know you're trying to make up for it. At least give yourself a chance. End around if you're Vegas. But just way too easy there from Optic with the crossfires being set up and the way that Shotzi is currently playing the Search and Destroy.
Yeah, 10 and 5, 2 first bloods. It's been pretty good. Now Vegas nades over towards backside glass. Priesta by himself over towards topside Burger Street. And Skies will get aggressive through the burger joint already. May not make much of a difference though, because Vegas have read that this B Street's wide open. They're gonna go for the early plant,
Big
but
win.
Dashy still gets first blood. RC drops, and now you call on to Pred. Yep, he's got to rewrap this. And with that win, now the focus has to go back over to Priesta. He's got to be aware that the likelihood of this pitch coming through is very high.
Oh yeah, because Dashy dies in the back, and Pilot just plants the bomb, so at least 2 players are on our side. We have to locate the island guy. Priesta potentially gonna get isolated, overextends a little bit. Shotzi gets the better of him. Pred gets caught, Xdid 1v3.
I mean, he was in such a good spot. He had help from Xdid and Pred, but now it's just down to Xdid, and no, just overwhelmed. Tough decision right there, I think, for Priesta. You're tucked in a pretty solid corner. I know you're afraid of being double chow, but you had help. Doesn't matter, though. It's Optic looking clean to this point. Again, the first couple of rounds, very back and forth. Both teams just kind of, jabbing, throwing out punches, seeing what's going to land. And then as soon as you get a read on what exactly this Falcons team is doing, you have no mercy if you're Optic.
Yeah, because they were shutting down their aggressive play in towards DBD. Yeah. Like Vegas, last time they played it, they found the first kill and always the second kill with the numbers on their side. But when you try to make those plays happen here, Optic are always ending out that situation with the numbers. So they needed to make some adjustments on their defensive side. You start to stack over towards Courtyard, give up that A-bomb site for free. And then when you're thinking, okay, Optic keep on going A, we have to eventually adjust. Yeah. No, they just hit you with the audible to B. It's just way too much to handle there from Optic. I love the strategies that they had on that map.
And I think just the mind games from the first round played such an impact because like we're talking about, like Priest and Arcitys over towards Burger Street, that was where they really beat Boston. Like, yeah, the SMGs would duel each other out a lot inside of DBD, but Arcitys would often see that there was a free lane. He would come back over in towards that front side of A double doors, find an angle to shut down somebody else. But once he gets denied that spot, it just never becomes a play again for him. And that's just huge for the SMGs of Optic.
Yeah, we were just dying in tough situations, tough spots. Like even in that final round, when you know you have B site control, Arcitys is playing for the players potentially on the back of their base. But then you lose that one-on-one gunfight versus Dasher when you fully don't have to commit on it. You can play the bomb and play it from your spawn. But when you give up that first flood, when you catch them off guard on a play call, that just simply is going to cost you every time.
We're getting nerdy over here.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Okay, vamos a la playa. Let's go back over to the desk.
That's our job, Jay.
Get nerdy.
Also, shout out to Shift. And yes, I can confirm, chat, he is the son of Sheer McGavin. A lot of you don't know who that is.
That's a deep
No.
cut.
Google it later. Let's
might
talk
be
a
a
little bit
better
about this
golfer,
team.
too.
Can we walk through why I am not seeing the Falcons up 2-0?
Where do we start, Chris?
There's a lot of places
Is
to start.
Optic that much better?
Well, look, today it's Shotzzy. It's all Shotzzy. You're getting nice production out of Exton in the kills department, but Shotzi's taking these opportunities, he's taking these gunfights, he's not losing big fights, and he is making plays. Whether it's the hard point, where he's guaranteeing money heals, guaranteeing those big point gains for his team with the spawns, or whether it's the hard point, or sorry, in the Search and Destroy as well. He is on point today.
Yeah. The biggest thing about this map, too, for me was Shotzzy and his two pieces. It came down to a lot of trade situations where Shotzzy was the player that came out on top. He typically would find the two and give Optic the advantage, but also from the flip side, I really liked the idea of the defense from the side of Falcons, where Pred takes up an AR and kind of pushes out Burger. My issue is, in the first time that they show this defense in round number 5, is that they allow the plant to go down. Alan touched on it already. Like, they are not a good retake team, and we saw that throughout the entirety of this map, too. But even later on, they put in that same defense. Pred does a complete backtrack to their spawn to try and help B Street, instead of pushing out that guy deep street near A, and then trying to go for that flank like we usually see. So it almost feels like Pred's kind of second-guessing himself right now when it comes to Search and Destroy and trying to force himself to be a playmaker.
Miles, you want to know when I knew it was all going to go wrong for me today?
When, Chris?
Map number 1. Let's take a look at some of these highlights because Optic outslays the Falcons towards the end. They seal the deal with about 70-point lead.
One of the big moments for me as well, Skies winning some insane 1v1s, exactly those rotation kills, winning a lot of kills from in time as well. Mr. Bueno, he's also just turned up today in exactly when Optic needed it.
Exactly. He goes on a 6 spree in his P2 and sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I think it was really second rotation, the P4, they got a huge chunk of time, and you saw it was like Pred trying to make the play. He was the guy that was wrapping back into Rugs, trying to find a kill on Roto, but what happens is Optic just all pushed together, trade him out, get a huge chunk once again on P1, right? So it's like, if you're Vegas, you're just constantly on the back foot, trying to break, trying to make the P4 scrappy, just never goes into your favor. Optic today, man, playing with a little different type of energy in the HP.
250, 172 at the end of that hard point. We're going into a control game number 3. Now, previously, it was Falcons winning 3 of the respawns. Is this a 3-0 this time around, Allie?
Ooh, that's a tough question. I might have to go with yes, just because I think Optic's actually playing really good fundamentals right now. I think their team chem is on point, and that's what we've kind of been waiting for. The consistency, though, is always going to be the biggest issue. You good over there?
This is a 3-0.
You got it? You got
This
it?
is a 3-0.
Playing with this
Look,
beach
I think
ball.
I
got a little
actually
bit.
think it's the way it feels right now. I mean, the energy is there.
How many times
I
are you
mean,
going to do it?
the crowd is a little split, but that is not affecting the gameplay whatsoever.
All right, before we go, Ant, can you get it through the hoop?
Big ass head.
We're going to celebrate that
My
dub
bad,
as we
Ross.
go back to shift and study for more video games. Well done,
Damn you
fam.
people, go back to your shanties. Little Shooter McGavin reference for you.
They're having too much
you
fun.
missed that. Did you miss that reference?
Yes.
Damn it.
You're a lot older than I am, bro.
Son of a
Like,
gun.
I've seen Happy Gilmore, but you know the lines. Like, it's not me,
Be
bro.
careful what I say. They can make things out of clay.
You got it, bro.
Okay,
you
all
got
right,
it.
Let's
All
move
right.
on from that. Protocol. This is one of those maps, though, you look at in terms of how the series layout has come through. 1-6 for Optic on the season. But I think the biggest thing is you don't want to play Vegas on what has been one of their best controls, if you want to label it as that. So you're going to throw a little bit of a wild card in here, see what happens.
Yeah, you don't want to play Vault. Like, you just don't want to play Vegas on their best controlled map. So an absolute wild card here on Protocol. Both teams only played it one time throughout Stage 3, and they both got ran. Like, if you're Vegas, you couldn't figure out anything versus Atlanta. And obviously, it's Atlanta, the best Protocol control team that we have right next to LA Thieves. When you take a look at the maps and modes again, like Optic opening up with a Vault, haven't seen them win a Vault hardpoint in such a long time. Rewind, they don't really have a lot of reps on it, but the strategies were good enough there. And now, if you are Vegas, like backs against the wall, down 0-2, you need to make sure that you are on point in this lane, because versus Atlanta, you were getting outslayed on both sides by 9 to 10
Correct.
kills. You
Yeah.
can't have that on Protocol.
Now, speak to me a little bit about Vegas, because you've got, again, a really tough road if you were to want to put together what needs to be a good major for you. You got a reverse sweep Optic, then you have to play against Atlanta, and then from there it just becomes, I think they get the loser of Boston and Vancouver. Regardless of that, not good news in terms of how you put together what is necessary for you to have a shot and even a chance at being added to the conversation for playoffs.
Oh, added to the conversation, bro. They got 10 points.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know if that conversation even exists anymore
Well, it's like
unless
they
you
gotta
win
what?
both tournaments.
You got to finish like top 4, have a good major qualifier, and then
You
finish
need
like top
Jesus.
4 again.
You need Jesus with 10 points at this point in the CDL
Yeah.
of Season 2. Get to champs. It's going to take an absolute miracle, but I just think they're more focused on just ruining the party for some of these other teams.
That's fair.
And they still have a chance here to do it versus Optic Texas. You just got to figure out the slang here on Protocol. You get put into that trap, your breakups aren't the best, you're just not going to have a good time. So you need your SMGs to really create space for you.
All right, here we go. See what happens. You see the records across the board here. It is, again, not been necessarily great in any form for Vegas across the year. That's arced into this Stage 3. For Optic, just trying to get the mojo back together. Heck of a time to do it on what has been one of your worst control modes so far on the year.
So let's see how the break-off is going to go. Initially trying to make a push over towards B. Prez is able to strike for the first kill, but the AR is already fine too. Now you have pressure at this B point, and Vegas are currently not in a position to contest it besides one player.
Yeah, and even Priest is not really in the spot to contest. He's playing pot of PC right now, and he's been found. Oh, this might be a little too easy right now, Jay. Hook able to find 2. One with the nade, gets his own trade. Allows Shotzzy to hit a bit of a route, make sure middle of the map stays clean. Second tick of progress still being worked on, and there is not a kill to talk about for Vegas.
Yeah, and Shotzi's just trying to find someone, trying to influence the spawns a certain way, and now he timed it to perfection. Gonna have 3 right in front of him. Only able to take down the first. Teammates there, find the second. Shotzi in a big one-on-one. Pred is able to win it, and at least you guarantee at least 2 segments done at that B point.
Yeah, really good start, and you've also had a little bit of pressure on towards the A zone, and most importantly, a 5-life lead to this point. Hook kicking things off again with another first blood of this engagement. Skies dancing.
Good move.
Oh, killing off time for Exton to be taken care of, and now you're onto the A zone if you're Optic.
And you have the numbers as well. You know that your flank is currently being watched by Hook. He catches the timing onto the player working through bottom comms. So it should guarantee at least 1 segment here at the A point. But Hook is going to commit on the gunfight. Pred is able to win that one on the pinch. Now your teammates are winning every gunfight from the front side, and Shotzi is also going to get caught. So Vegas able to stabilize, but not for long.
Yeah, Sky's in trouble as well. Cannot get the trade onto Arcides. So 4 in a row for Alec. Hook finding a route to get up the ladder, and he finds Priest up top on the solo box. So this is likely going to be a really solid look here to get the extra 60. And yeah, there's so many gunfights over mid. It's just down to, whoa, Exit would have to make the solo play, and he comes up over the top. That's enough for him to slide on through, find Skies, and deplete that 3rd tick.
Yeah, and Optic are currently up by 5 lives. We just need to try to extend this time, make it a lot more difficult for Vegas to stand a chance here. But without having those stacks going, they keep on finding openings. Thankfully, the 2nd segment is already guaranteed. The double stack might be good enough, but this pitch from Exton is going to be felt. He finds a double. Now you only got 25 seconds.
13v9, but those lives may not come into play if they don't get the extra time. Big win from Dashy on 4 in a row. Looking for Pristo over the mid. And he's playing on top of guns. Here comes the hit. The play onto A, looking successful. Yeah, just Vegas cannot get a look at the zone through middle map. So that's enough for the extra 60. And now we can start talking more about those lives. 10v6, this could be a TDM.
And if you're Vegas should not afford to die here. Don't give up your life for free. Hook's able to find an opening on the pinch. I knows that Xnit is off the respawn. It's going to spawn right behind him. Continues to be aggressive over towards tower. No more respawn. Dashy also finds a kill, and now Skies is on the point.
Yeah, and if you're Vegas, I think you just got to try to flood on forward, see what you can do. They take Skies off for now. Holding it towards tower. Dashy still looking at it. There's the pinch from Shotzi. And these last two members are completely trapped. He has just nowhere to go. Come on, your hands up, Xnit. He finds the first, so the battle rages on a little longer, but they won't get that third segment. Kills come through. Optic take the offense.
Yeah, Optic take the offense, even though they had a lot of opportunities to make that look a lot cleaner. It's just, I feel like every time I watch Optic, it's like when nothing is going on in the map, someone wants to have something going on in the map. Like instead of stacking points, Optic gets aggressive on the backside of tower, doesn't find a kill for about 15 to 20 seconds. When realistically, you can stack that point, extend time early on, and then continue to play around your team. But thankfully, you still find the offensive win. You secure 5 segments there. Now, Vegas has some ground to make up.
I think the interesting thing about that break off for Optic is you find all the eliminations at mid, and then you've got Priest isolated. At no point beyond that does Vegas ever really reclaim the middle of the map. They really never get back over to 10. They don't get top window presence. They don't get zipline presence. So really good stuff from Optic to make sure that even defenders at gun do not get good looks to deny any offensive play on the A zone. So good stuff from Optic. And now their break off has Shotzi already making a move. And he's up to say hello with Priesta. Xnit trying to force something over towards B, and he at least create some space to work with off that first kill on the sky.
Yeah, now he just has to finesse because every one of his teammates have already fallen. So how long can he dance in towards Grandma's? Finds the one-shot kill onto Dashy. Now you can slowly work up your progression over at this A point, but Xnit knows, just wanting over toward tower. Let me continue to be a nuisance while my teammates are guaranteeing some segments.
Oh, but a nade over the top actually takes care of the contestant on the A zone. Pred was trying to set up kind of a follow-up route here with Xnit's position from before, but this is just not enough for Vegas to stay alive on either of the two zones, let alone to even deter the spawn trap that's starting to come out. Xnit gets to read that Sky's nearby. A couple of opening shots allows him to follow up, and that will create a little bit of space for Vegas to get out of spawn.
And they found 2 kills. Now you can work your way over towards Helling. You still got to clear out your 10. Thankfully, Xnit on the rat back. Going to gain the influence of Hook, set up Pred for the kill, but now we need some trips control. You're able to catch the timing on the Shotzi. First segment already is going to be locked in. And with 3 dead, this should be a guaranteed. We just only have 1 person on it.
And there's a little bit of confusion here. You kind of saw like Pred and Exit just cross paths up top. Like who's watching what right now? Dashy gets the shutdown from the window play. Here comes the third tick of progress. Double stack is in for Vegas. Contest not looking likely unless Hook can find some sort of elimination or double. Doesn't fully come through. Only finds the one. RCD's taken down after capturing the point, but now Fred's on your flank, or is he? Nice turn as Hook deals with it, and now Optic hold the life advantage.
That's everyone accounted for. So now if you're Optic Texas, just hold your corners. Make their life off the respawn a living hell, but Priesta and Xnit already finding 2 on the way on out. Clear out their base on their first attempt. All tied up at lives, 1 minute and 15 to work with, and Optic are currently stacked over towards tower.
Hook will drop in Skies. Keeps himself up. A little sentry turret from inside the zone itself. Good read from Priesta. Lots of damage comes through, but Shotzi says not so fast. Trade out for RCDs allows him to start to making a route up through mid, over towards Grandma's. Stun comes through though, so the alert and the alarm starts to come out as Optic need to deal with this, and they've got him isolated.
Yeah, RCD just needs to play his life, get out of dodge. Your teammates are already applying pressure through the front side. 45 seconds to go. You need this wave of kills to go your way, but now on the pinch, it's going to be Shotzi catching the timing off the hop down, finds a double, shuts down that play.
Yeah, Nexta just needs to find one more, I would say, to allow his teammates to try to come out of spawn, but not going to happen. Priesta denies the spawn trap. We have a 7v9 and less than 30 seconds to fight for if you're Vegas. Optic's defense looking solid. RCD's tiptoeing over towards the top of the ledge, finds Dashy. That should be a route, but they need to deal with Shotzi first, and okay, Priest is able to. Who can try to follow up for the trade? Stun comes through, but doesn't land in time. 3v7, last 9 seconds, and no one from Vegas is close enough to get to the zone at the moment.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to touch. Last man standing is going to be Xnit, Optic, Texas, and the ARs are frying. But what Shotzi is doing with that SMG, this is the level that you need him to play at, because he's finding all of his timings on his pinches. He's not making any egregious routes and leaving his teammates out to dry. He is always in the play. Single-handedly shut down this play over towards B with that opening double. Still knows that Xnit is near on by. Shotzi makes another heroic play.
This has been really good from Optic today so far.
It's the fundamental part, man.
Yeah,
They're playing a lot better in that fundamental aspect of the game.
Other side for Vegas, things just have not come together. Pred 9 and 15, Priest 10 and 15. It's just they're getting outslayed, they're getting outplayed. They're not finding any positions to really work with. It's been a battle, and one that's not gone all that well. This is the same break-off once again for Optic. This time RCDs deals with Dashy on the long run, and yeah, that's enough for Exit to peek over towards ledge, find another, and stop this play towards B.
And now Shotzi has an opportunity to just be a nuisance and towards Grandma. Someone's gonna break a window. Let me turn around, win that one-on-one. We got 2 for 2 in the kill feed. Now you want to put the game clock at a pause, but Priesta, the perfect timing on this pinch, finds the guys off the respawn, and now everybody else besides Shotzi is in hell.
Yep. But Exit, Dashy, yep, this is all about just trying to find these SMGs. Skies runs right by. Exit going to work now. 6 in a row, finally shut down. Pred following up. No, Dashy deals with full. And now Shotzi has trying to make the play to really allow his teammates to sprint back over to B. Not going to happen. Priesta, though, in trouble. Stun and Septex comes out, damages in, and he's able to follow up to find his own kill. So good stuff. Third trophy system down, and Vegas' defense looking solid here at B.
Yeah, currently not a single segment earned on the side of Optic Texas. You're only going to be up by 2, and Vegas are able to hold you down in potentially a shutout round. RCD's finds a double from that helicopter position. You have one player just playing his life at hay, just stalling the game clock. And he also finds a kill, and he finds a double. Dashy with a massive moment gives Optic another lifeline.
Priesta is going to get caught. Yeah, there's just too many members he's got to worry about. So now the double stack is in. Trophy system down. Looking good for likely the entirety of this A zone, but the SMGs will drop over through mid. Shotzi just trying to keep a little bit of a buffer in front of this A zone. Help out wherever he needs to. Third tick nearly earned. That first shutdown of the Priesta is a critical one. And this little dance over through Grandma's may be enough to get this third tick in, and such it is. Only a 4-life deficit. Vegas trying to find a way to hold on to this last minute 25.
And realistically, now if you're Priesta going from this flank over towards top trips, you are going to be the safety net. Because everybody else from Optic Texas are roaming through your spawn. Shotzi is just looking for timing while Dashy is just mowing him down with the AR. He's on 7 in a row before falling, but he even finds a kill with the trophy system. So you're instantly already on the B point.
At 29 and 14 from Dashy, Shotzi 21 and 15. The duality between those two has been unbelievable here in this control. First take at B, looking good. Shotzi just making sure Priesta is held back. Gets a couple of tags, wants to force it, and will find the kill. Back over to the zone, first take locked. Dashy in a little bit of trouble. Pred trying to work with him, and yeah, we'll get the better of him, but Shotzi's still alive.
And it's 6v6 though, so if you're Optic Texas, basically gonna be your last push. You need to make this one count. So Shotzi on 5 in a row. Potentially gonna try to find the timing on the pinch while Hookah's working through the side street. They both win the one-on-ones. No more respawns remaining. Optic last push.
4v5 situation. Not a lot of information for Optic on what's over towards the B point, but they're not worried about that. They're trying to find these kills off spawn. Hook right on in towards Labs. No. Denied by Exit. 4v3. And the Vegas Falcons are going to stack up and play what looks to be like a search and destroy type of setup. Just wait and hold on top of the zone.
You got the numbers. If you're Optic Texas, everyone just flood. You're going to be the last team standing.
Shotzi gets stunned. RCD finds the kill. Trade by Skies. Over the top of the barrel. Another follow up, and now it's just down to 1. Just up to Priesta. Playing on the backside of the barrels. Has Skies on a nasty heady. Help over the middle as Optic are just going to stay on the point. There's the final push, and Optic collect a 3-0 against Vegas. There will be no revenge, no redemption for Pred. And Optic will have a chance to set the tone here and await Destiny versus FaZe.
Yeah, that's a massive W there for the Green Wall. You took an unfortunate L, gave Vegas Falcons their first ever W in the CDL through Wild Stage 3. But this time you make up for it after a tough L yesterday with a clean 3-0. Just the big picture stuff. They actually look like a team today.
Better.
Like there was everyone in sync. When you talk about the rotations in the hard point, we're effectively finding trades, always in a position to be in the search and destroys, and then in the control, it's just like, all right, Shotzi's getting lost. He's making a double every single time. Dashy dominating with that AR. It's just way too much to handle when they have the fundamentals in play. You're gonna need to keep that in play because your next matchup is versus Atlanta FaZe.
Yeah, I think that's the big question mark is, did you see enough here from Optic to say that they could still battle with Atlanta,
yes,
who, to be fair, is looking softer than normal? Yep. Okay.
Because their hardpoint game, you saw what Atlanta does. Like, if they don't win rotations, they're going to struggle because their hold percentage and their break percentage isn't the best. But if Optic can be the team initially to start off these hardpoints, put themselves in the power spot and not really rely on anything else, that's when they show who they truly are.
Well, this is more like business as usual for not just Optic, but also Atlanta kicking off our day today. A 3-0 here for Optic.